Hello, colleagues. We are about to start our fourth conference day. 3 days are already behind and 6 more sessions are up front. And today on the stage are Veronika Anisimkova with overview of demanded tech skills. Then we'll have session with Laura and Fabrizio who will discuss changes of BA role, new responsibilities, new skills, positioning, and so on. So, ending this conference day, our colleagues Pavel Pivosh, Ted Whale, Iolanta Mamat, Dmitro Lazovitsky, and Jan Mazurik conduct roundtable discussing expectations toward BAs from tech lead, delivery manager, client, and understanding of BA role by BAs by themselves. So ask your question, engage, and enjoy. Thank you for being turned on, and let's start this conference day. So see you.
Hey, hello, colleagues. I'm so glad to see you all. Hello, Veronika.
Hello, Nadia.
I'm glad to see you all here and would like to thank you for finding the time to join us today. It's the fourth day already for our BA Excellence Conference that is conducted by the Global BA community, and our current speaker is Veronika Anisimkova with the topic, very interesting and exciting one, Mentor's View. Tech skills, pivoting, BA advancement. Just a couple of organization remarks before we launch on our interesting journey with Veronika. Just a reminder that this session is going to be recorded like all the other talks of the conference, and in about a week, all the recordings will be shared with the conference participants. And also, feel free to post your questions in the chat, and don't forget to rate the talk of the speaker on We Are Community platform if you enjoy the talk. So, Now it's high time to get to know our speaker, Veronica. Please tell me, I know that you have quite a long and interesting journey ahead of you. Tell me, where did it all begin?
So I'm so glad to see you, and hello everyone, and kick off this fourth day of the conference. It's awesome. It's awesome and responsibility for me. So for my journey, looking back, I'm shocked that it's already been 10 years. I'm started at eGov domain, and over time I changed different rules. Developer, tester, cyber security specialist, tech writer, and in the end, I got a BA role. For me, the most meaningful is the role is being fully involved in the whole process. It's about you are not just join it, your activity started it. And its job grabbed me, and I wanted to keep getting better in it. I dealt with the legal aspects of the customs clearance domain, and then complex banking systems. At the beginning, it was challenging to grab everything, and right now, I'm enhancing the app by integrating digital financial assets and smart contracts. It's going to be a game changer.
That's great and interesting, really. I noticed also in your profile that you mentor analysts. How did you become a mentor? Can you share with us?
It's a good question, because being mentor, it's wasn't on my bucket list. It's just happened naturally. I gained in financial domain, and after that, students and aspiring analysts started me ask for help. Then my colleagues joined in, and over time, I became involved in mentoring with my company.
I can hear you. Yeah. All good.
I hear echo.
Sorry.
Yeah. And that's all. It's my way how I can slowly start in mentoring.
That's great. And have you spoken publicly before?
Yes, I've had a presentation before. Now I talk a lot about technical skills and continue to talk about this topic today.
That's great. So I think it's high time for us to get started.
Yeah,
let's go.
Let's get started. So I switch my presentation. So, let's get started. Picture this: a sunlight office, the rhythmic tapping of keyboards, and young specialist, our mentee, eagerly absorbing knowledge. Today, I invite you to step into my shoes. Together, I'll explore a journey that mirrors the expertise of other BAs. Along the way, we'll discuss trends and unravel common challenges I observed in training BAs. Let's kick off with some statistics. Back in 2018, and we see 10 key skills were highlighted for employees. And of course, analytical thinking is top of the list. Fast forward to 2023, we spot a new category, technological literacy. And it's not just stepped, but became the third fast-growing key skill. At the same time, system thinking, artificial intelligence, and big data climbed up the ranking, making it into the top 10 skills on the rise. Diving deeper into the report, we can see the technological literacy in this spotlight. It's not totally new. Instead, more employees than ever are tech savvy, making the difference between the digital sharks and the rest. So what does this mean for us? That the industry is rising the bar. Expectation for the level of technological literacy among analysts should be elevated. Because BAs are the ones who solve business needs by understanding the domain and its changes, and including technological ones. Now let's get down to the subject, right? So everyone starts somewhere. Each of us takes the first steps in our education, career, business. And today I'd like to share with you the case of my way as mentor. Please welcome the hero of today's presentation, my mentee. To avoid any real-world confusion, let's call him Mike. Our mentoring journey began 2 years ago. So Mike had a solid CV, and check out what he had on it. Took BA core courses and management, had some experience with BA techniques with such user story and acceptance criteria, and a little bit use cases, and used modeling business processes. Although not BA specific, Mike's previous role involved working with clients and payment field. And additional expertise, familiar with task tracking tool, documentation software, and CAP, understanding of website layout, and the strong soft skill set. I'm curious about one thing. Imagine you sipping coffee 5 years ago and you've got Mike's CV in front of you. If you inspect his skill set, what position, junior or middle level, was he qualified for? Please share your answers in the chat. So Mike joined an international company, complete onboarding, and began working on project. But fate had other plans. Just 2 weeks ago, the customer backed out. The feedback from PO was disappointing. The deadlines are tight, and there's not time to spoon feed the basics. Mike and I had to do some work and figure out what went wrong. After diving deeper, we discovered that Mike's new task involved creating a new business process. He was puzzled by how the front-end and back-end services interacted in it. Honestly, I'm not sure even an expertise BA wouldn't have failed in Mike's shoes. What's happened next? Mike's got a second chance and joined a new team, but with the same customer. During the probation period, he was given a new task. Mike had to break it into smaller parts, make mockups, understand how data was used, exchanged, and stored, and document all requirements for user interface and functionality. He aimed to improve at least 50% of the requirements with the customer and the deadline. That means good to deliver the feature to use on time, so Mike could hope for good feedback. With 1 month already passed and 2 months more to go. So Mike had 3 options to get the missing knowledge: commercial courses, mini trainings, and mentoring. Each of these had pros and cons. For Mike, the priority was obtaining targeted knowledge within a limited time frame. And courses and trainings offered in-depth theoretical insights, but their practical application often different from real-world projects. Mike needs to close the relevant knowledge gap here and now, put it into practice immediately, and get expert quick feedback. And mentorship solved all. Only one thing: he had to count on the experience of a particular expert. And must admit, I was afraid of letting Mike down. I complete list knowledge, some kind of roadmap to success. And here is this key insight I came to. Mike used to work on previous project where the system was a small website consisting HTML and CSS web pages and web server storing those. And as is, he doesn't have enough outlook and understanding of what other system they are. And then Mike got a new project, which includes 3 types of front end: mobile app, web app, and PWA. They were written in different languages and had distinct UI features. Mike and I researched each client app, making tablets with tech details, and this systematic approach gave us a good overview of client-server architecture and understanding of the front-end nuances. Mike found the backend more challenging. It was a layered application architecture. Layers 1 and 2 used microservices, and layer 3 legacy systems. For Mike, understanding the common patterns like layering, microservices, and monolith would help him grasp why such a solution is built and how it functions together. I'm fun microservices as each one handles specific things independently. For example, this microservice for content, for example, pics, text, videos, movies, banners, other of products, for example, cards and accounts, and yet another for payments. And you can have many such microservices, but each one is related to a specific business function. Mike used database in his project to understand how they work. Why should create local databases from microservices and then export data to central storage? Why some data remains stored in unstructured form, and how data caching? Since there are so many types of database management system, DBMC, Mike took the popular apps he used every day, like TikTok and Stripe, and studied the practical application of other DBMCs. I find it interesting when job posting mentions SQL requirements. Knowing SQL doesn't automatically mean understanding what a database is. Data modeling, it's like a special kind of art. why I'm talking about data modeling separately from data storage, because knowing how data is stored and determining how to store it yourself are not the same. Take Mike. He got a lot of information and a real world project example on how database work. The hardest part was figuring out which data to use. And Mike thought about how to identify entities from the domain and base in the storage. And at the moment, I believe the sowing the seed of understanding in object-oriented approach, which is often difficult for analytics. So Mike understood all the components and the backend and how to use the connect those. Mike's journey wrapped up with dive into integration types: RPC, GraphQL, SOAP, and REST API. Formats for Exchange, JSON and XML. And next step, we decided to do this in practice by working with tools, Postman for APIs, and Kafka as the asynchronous way for Exchange. Why? Because this kind of field study is here the real action happen. Theoretical stuff can be dull, but nothing beats hands-on exploration, where you can play around and see the technological in action. So here, Mike's and I dashboard, where we keep track on knowledge and useful stuff. It's broken down by topics, but it's a bit hectic, and it reflects our hard work. I know we cannot cover everything about technical skills in just 20 minutes. And so I made one page for you, update some useful links, and make available to everyone. Hope this helps you to see how to use technical skills practically and get more hands-on knowledge. We completed this learning way, but how could we measure Mike's progress? It's easy enough to just ask him this question: what happened when you click a button on your website? Now rewind the tape. Remember the starting points of his learning path. So if Mike nails the answer, then the whole journey was a success. I think it's high five all around. These 5 fundamentals are must of BAs in 2024. They form the bedrock of everyday applications. However, additional knowledge requirements may vary depending on the domain. Fintech, healthcare, customs clearance, business types B2B, B2C, B2G, and the company's willingness to adapt emerging technologies. Since then, I have trained several analysts, each with a unique story. So this experience, I've identified challenges inherent in the process of training. And the first, we noticed projects are getting faster with tighter deadlines as the company tried to keep up with faster moving trends. For analysts, this means that newcomers have less time to catch up, especially when working with complex systems. Mike was in the same board, and unfortunately, the company didn't have time for training. The second point, companies expect new hires to arrive with a strong BA core, backed by practical skills. They won't need much time to get them up to speed. These trends allow little room for mistakes. Nobody will wait while you learn to write user stories and formulate emails to clients. That's why analysts must put their theoretical knowledge into practice. And if you have such an opportunity, train new approaches and techniques on your current projects. And the last, data management and integrations are not just theoretical skills. You can read all of you want about it, but you've got to see them its action on a real project. That's exactly what middle-level analysts are facing today. When they hop onto new projects, they often lack the necessary practical tech skills. And I return you to point 2. If you already have a project, train on it. Train and taking the challenge and design service on your current product from scratch for training, but you will go through all the stages on this design and understand it more technical nuances than after reading many books. So let's be honest here. Let's remember Mike's old CV. What are his chances getting a good, high-paying job now? Unfortunately, with his old CV and skill set, but in current realities, Mike would only and qualify for junior position. Things might have been different 5 years ago. The technical skills I shared are what analysts need to know these days. It's just common stuff now. You start figuring out where clients' wishes can actually happen and where it's like suggesting building a spaceship. It's just not gonna fly with the tech team. When you know how things are made technically and practically, and you feel more sure in your vision because you really get what's being talking about. Technology is just a part of everyday life now, across all professions. That's why BAs need to stay one step ahead. The solution to really on every day start with us. And let's get back to our hero. 2 months later, Mike finalized the requirements. All the customer was initially careful about Mike's level activity, and they continued to work with him. So thank you so much for your attention. I hope you find our today conversation useful. Follow me and LinkedIn, send your questions, and we have time for questions.
Yeah, about a couple, 2-3 minutes. I think that we can cover one or maybe a couple of them. So let's start with one of the questions from audience that I think worries all of us, actually. And what do you think? So the question is, what do you think about AI as a core skill for a business analyst?
So good question. So I have three options in my answer. First of all, AI is innovation. And in the reality, small percentage of businesses have the resources and are willing to use AI. It's cool skill, and I would recommend getting it. But learning a new skill from scratch, because it's innovation, and considering it basic for all business analysts for everyday work, it's not the same. And I think we can look at the trend. 5 years ago, technological literacy not considered a separate category of all core skills. Now it is. And I even say more, in many ways, it appeared because of AI. And it's very possible, I think, that in other 5 years, AI will become part of technological literacy, or will be singled out as separated technological core skill.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for the answer. I think in case we have a couple of more questions, but unfortunately not enough time to answer them. So please, just a reminder for everyone who is now listening to us that you can leave your questions in the Q&A session, and we will prepare some follow-up with Veronika, where she will for sure answer all of your questions, give your feedback also to her. She will be happy, of course. And so thank you so much, Veronika. It was really interesting, inspiring to hear about your story and your expertise in this matter. And I believe, I hope that it has inspired more people than just me, but thank you. So a personal thank you from me. And so, yeah, the next talk by Fabrizio Laguna and Laura Brandenburg with the topic BA Job Function Transformation, New Skills, New Responsibilities will start shortly. Please stay tuned, stay with us, and wishing you a nice day, Veronika. Thanks for being with us.
Have a nice day, guys. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.
Our website is
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me well? Is the sound good? Nice. So welcome to the BA Excellence Conference held by the Global BA community today, together with our very special speakers. We will explore the BA job function transformation topic in panel discussion format, which is super cool. Stay active, leave your questions in the agenda page. Our speakers will address them during the Q&A session. Speaking of our experts, I bet that you must have heard about them. Today we have Fabricio Laguna and Laura Brandebook. It's a pleasure to have you here today. Thank you both for joining, and let's kick it off.
Good morning, Olga. It's a pleasure to be here. An honor to be joining Laura. Hello, Laura. How are you doing?
I am doing amazing. How are you, Fabricio? How's Orlando?
It's fine. It's sunny, a very beautiful day. I'm in the middle of a conference here. It's called Building Business Capability, but it's an honor to join you at the BA Excellence.
I'm excited to be here too. I will just say I've had a few internet issues in the last 15 minutes that have cropped up. So if I'm in and out, that's why. So you might have to improvise a little bit, but I know you're good at that.
Yeah. And you're doing great. I can see you very well, listening to you very well. I also had some troubles. My notebook cannot connect it to the Wi-Fi, so I had to come to an office room here. So someone may enter. If there's some noise, I'm sorry. So I would like to start, Laura, if some kind of presenting. We have different perspectives in where we live, about where we are. Could we start presenting a little bit about ourselves?
Sounds great. Yeah. So I am Laura Brandenburg, the host and founder of Bridging the Gap. And we're an online training company. And we focus on helping BAs get started and be successful in their roles. And I started this company 15 years ago after being a BA in 3 different organizations, mostly what would be considered smaller companies. They felt big to me. They had hundreds or thousands of people, but not like, hundreds of thousands of people, like a much, much larger company. And before I was in business analysis, I was a QA engineer, and I really just fell into the role. And I see a lot of people fall into the role. So when I say I help people start business analyst careers, often those people have years, if not decades, of experience doing something kind of like business analysis, and then discover a conference like this or an article about the role and realize it's what they've been doing for years and really just need more of a formal skill set around. So I come with that very individualized, career focused. How do I get started and solidify myself in the career? And also just, I'm in the United States, so we do serve an international audience, but I have that kind of US perspective to bring today. How about you, Fabricio?
I was one of those people that have done business analysis for a long time, without knowing that was called business analysis. But I had the opportunity to meet business analysis I was certified as a CBAP in 2008. So a long time ago, luckily. But as you said, I was doing business analysis a lot, but I was calling system analysis, I was calling some other thing, project management. But the opportunity to know what business analysis is, to study it in an organized way, like the BA Bob Guide presents us, lifted me to another level of understanding that was important in my career. And I became also a teacher in business analysis. I usually don't teach for individuals. I have courses online recorded, but most of my time I'm teaching for companies, and I'm doing consultants as well, working as a consultant in organizations, usually doing some kind of strategic business analysis more often than software development. And I'm also a speaker, and I have been in a lot of conferences. That's my main point. And I live in Brazil. That's a very different perspective than living in the US. So that the market of business analysis in Brazil is a little different from what it is in the US, I believe.
Yes. So, just to kind of dive into our topic today, I know the first question we wanted to talk about, we mentioned in our synopsis for this talk that I feel like the BA role is on a rising tide. Is that something, a perspective that you share? And, if so, like, what kind of evidence do you see that supports that?
I share the perspective with you. I would say like that there are some points that we could mention that shows this tide. First of it, organizations are more and more understanding the need to be nimble. And what I call nimble is the capability of sensing and respond to change fastly and precisely. So both things are important. So I have to understand what's going on. I have to understand the scenario, my context, and be able to respond fastly and precisely. And this precisely part is important. So if I have some kind of agile technique, so I can respond fastly, but that doesn't mean that I'm responding in the right manner, right? I have the best response. So business analysis is the skill that helps us to understand what's going on and define the best alternative, the best solution for a problem or for needs. Another thing that I see that's very important and that is elevating the role of business analysis is the rise of AI. So with the rise of AI, making questions, making good questions is a key skill that we need. And business analysis is the art of making good questions, right? So more than having the answers, we are very good in making questions. So that are two important points that I see, and I see that those points are not real just for business analysts, but for any professional. So a lot of people is also coming to my courses. I see in my courses online, sometimes I have lawyers, doctors, medical doctors. We have salespeople coming to the courses, trying to learn AI, to learn these kind of skills. And in this point, I would like to ask you a question, Laura.
Mhm.
We see other types of professionals trying to learn BA skills and trying to learn business analysis, and in some way playing the role of a business analyst. It's more common if we talk in the AI realm about product owners, product managers. Those guys are doing a lot of business analysis. Do you see that as a threat for BA professionals?
You know, I think I have a challenge with this idea of other, right? Like if these people are doing business analysis, they're business analysts, or maybe they're doing business analysis under different titles, just like we talked about in our career history. We were at one point in our careers doing the work without understanding the title. So sometimes, again, like I've mentioned, for decades, people have been doing this and just not knowing there was a role. So I think it's an opportunity for our profession to expand its reach and its credibility and its awareness as all of these people from related roles are kind of moving and building up their business analysis skills. So it's, you can see every problem is an opportunity or every opportunity is a problem, depending on your perspective. So I think from a global perspective, as far as the profession of business analysis, it's a great thing to have more people acknowledging the skill set and wanting to build the skill set and bring that kind of discipline to their companies. At an individual level, it can feel a bit threatening because it feels like other people are sort of trampling on the work that you've kind of created a niche for within your organization. But on the flip side of that as well, it also means that the BA skills that you've developed, you can take in any sort of direction that you want. So you have these kind of footholds into other roles and you really get to build a career path. Sometimes I think the old school BA career path of, I work on a software project and I do this piece and I work on just the software requirements, is limiting for a lot of people and kind of kept you in a box. And what we're seeing is now we have all these opportunities to move into these tangential and related roles where our BA skill set can really help us grow and expand into those roles. So it's really, we can make it a problem and feel really scarce about it. Like, oh my goodness, that's my work and now somebody else is doing it. Or we can see like, what does this open up for me? And so I think just having that more abundance mindset is really important in that kind of question.
Very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm called the Brazilian BA, but I never had the title of business analyst in all my life. I always do consultancy. I always try to help people. So
yeah,
it opens, I agree with you. It opens windows more than closed doors.
Yeah. And what you spoke to about your career is really a great example of that. You said you were doing more strategic business analysis today. So Could you kind of share a little bit about what that looks like? And do your clients even still consider you a business analyst today? Like, is that a title they use for you?
Even I'm using the title. A lot of my clients don't even have an idea about what business analysis is. And the fact is that they don't care very much. What they want to their business to go better. They want their business to have a better outcomes. That's the point that they're looking for. So when I say that I do business analysis, I usually work as a consultant. That's how they call me. They hire me as a consultant, and I start by defining what's the strategy for a company. So I start discussing with my customers about the mission, their vision, their values, where they want to go, what are their goals, their objectives. So in a very high level perspective, and from that we initially define what are the strategies that can take us to realize our vision. What are the strategies that could help us to achieve our goals? And we start defining objectives, very clear and measurable objectives. And from those objectives, at some point, become projects. And we define a program of projects. And then we go directly from strategy and make all the alignment. I know it's not all BAs that have this opportunity to start from strategy, and a lot of them just start their work in a project that was already defined. Even if you are doing that, it's really key to understand the strategy that came behind, so you can focus all your efforts and everything you're doing to that strategy. That's probably the most important point.
That is such like a fascinating, I feel like this is where so many BAs want to go in their career, Fabricio. So you've really created an opportunity, like a path, really. When you're talking to business owners or the leaders that are hiring you to do that work, I'm curious, like, what do they see as, what's the value that they want at the end of the day? Like, what's the outcome?
Yeah, the outcome usually is always business outcomes. So they want to enhance the number of customers. They want more profit. They want to make things easier. Customer satisfaction. You always have to connect the work that you are doing to a business outcome. Nobody needs a system. Sometimes people say, "Oh, I want to hire you because I need a new system." That's fake. Nobody needs a system. Nobody needs a new report. Nobody needs a feature in their system. What they're looking for is the outcome that they expect based on that new system, based on that feature or something like that. And when you understand the outcome that they're looking for, that's so important because it changes your perspective. And you say, "Oh, I'm not here to build a system. I'm not here to define requirements. I'm not here to build a new feature in your system. I'm here to bring you better business outcomes." And maybe the idea that you had at the beginning of this conversation is not the best alternative to reach that business outcome. So let's think it broader. So that brings to this higher and more strategic perspective, and then you can come back. So it's always an opening and closing way of thinking.
They're really not even hiring you to do strategy, so to speak, right? They're hiring you for this business outcome, and you're using strategy to get them there.
Yes, you're right. So strategy is how we get there, and not and not how we leave there. Perfect. So let me bring for a question that most people are talking. I mentioned AI at the beginning of this conversation, and I want to bring AI because it's important for everyone. We are talking about that very often. So with the rise of AI, I believe that business analysis should take the lead and center their focus in organizing their organizations to use this new technology or to explore this new opportunity strongly. And what challenges do you believe are needed in the traditional BA way of working to work now with AI?
Yeah, I want to start. I know we've been talking about the strategy and the role of BAs and like more before the project, but I think a lot of BAs are probably still working within the context of a project too, right? So I'm going to start talking about this. like using AI when you have a project, because I think there's still opportunities to be strategic in your project work, right? So making sure, as you mentioned, when you're in a project, understanding the bigger picture strategy, the why we're doing this, what are the business objectives, right? And like, what's the problem we're trying to solve in this project, so that you can hold that very true and see that through the course of the project. But then also exploring how could an AI type solution be relevant on this project. So using that as a potential solution type when you're looking at, it's not just business process and it's not just software functions. Where can AI be leveraged by the business to help solve this problem? But also, where can I leverage AI within my business analysis process, so that what used to be like I thought of as kind of the busy work of business analysis, right? The documentation updates, kind of the details, the resolution of thinking, even the brainstorming of questions to ask. How can you leverage generative AI as a partner to ask better questions, to be better prepared, to be really efficient and sort of the detailed work of business analysis, so you have more time for some of that more strategic, big picture thinking work even within the context of the project. And then as you think bigger, I know we had a great LinkedIn Live, I don't know, it might be almost a year ago now, where you were talking about, how can you be on the forefront of your company of what are the ways that we could leverage AI as a company to solve this problem for our customers, right? So like that's kind of the next level. But I think I don't want to leave people only with that kind of option, because so many BAs are working within projects, and that can kind of be like, oh, that's for somebody else. Like within a project, there's a lot of opportunities to be strategic in that way and start to have those conversations as well, which will lead to those bigger picture conversations in the future.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Totally agree. I believe there is always room to be strategic. There's always room to understand where we are, where should we be, and how could we find a path to be there.
So nobody gets off the hook.
Yes, that's the point. That's the point. Perfect.
I think we wanted to pause here. Olga, if we have any questions from the audience, we have plenty of more things to talk about. But do we have questions from the attendees?
For sure. Actually, we have one question already. So Irina wants to know what technical skills are going to become more important for BA today or in the nearest future. You probably addressed part of it, but maybe you want to expand more. Thank you.
About the BA technical skills, I'm not seeing them changing very much. I mean, the skill of understanding what is going on, the skill of leading with people, that's probably the most important skill that BAs have. Collaboration, promote collaboration, engage people, bring their opinions to a shared understanding. So finding a shared understanding between people, and I'm saying people here strongly because I'm not saying AI. So having those different opinions. I like it, a definition I saw sometimes, someone defining what's a BA, and he said, oh, I'm a BA, and someone asked him, what's a BA? And he said, imagine that a bunch of people united themselves in a table to discuss, debate, and know what they have to do. I'm that table. It's a visual definition that I like it very much, and that's a skill, I believe, make people get an understanding.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and I 100% agree that the people skills are essential. This question on technical skills comes up so often, and I feel like depending on your background, what a technical skill is can feel different to different people. So if you are more on the business strategy side, like just getting clear on what software requirements are or what the software specifically needs to do can feel very technical. The other aspect that can feel very technical that I think is really important today is the ability to model and understand data. So not to like build the databases necessarily, or even know SQL, though a lot of business analysts do benefit from knowing SQL on the more technical side, but understanding like how a database is structured and how data passes back and forth between systems to help a business process be more efficient and to automate that process, right? So just understanding how software works and then how to get specific in your requirements about what you want out of the software can be a really important technical skill set that I think is essential for a BA working on a software project, right? It's not
For
just the
sure.
strategy and the business part. And you don't have to know how to code to do that. You really have to know how to think very analytically and specifically.
Oh,
So,
it is
you know,
so
focus
true,
there.
so accurate.
Yeah.
Thank you. Let's continue.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think it's over. I think it's over to you, Fabricio.
it's over to me. All right. So, well,
Oh, wait, actually, it's to me, right?
It's over to you. It's over to
Thank
you.
you. Sorry about that. So, yeah, so we've been talking about sort of the essence of business analysis and how it permeates all these different kinds of roles. Like you mentioned, like sales and marketing and different people that were coming to you. When you think about the business analysis mindset, like, is there like an essence of that that you would define as the essence of that BA mindset? And what does it really mean here that we are in 2024?
right. That's something I have dedicated myself a lot about, thinking about this BA
Yeah.
mindset. I think that's a good way for us to understand what unites different job titles that are playing business analysis. So, as you said, marketing people, sales people, if they're also business analysts, what do they have in common? Because they might be doing very different kinds of work. It's not the roles and responsibilities that they have in common. There must be something that relates to all of them. And for me, that's the BA mindset. That's what this is about. And I define mindset as a common way of thinking, the way we think, feel, and act. And if we have a shared common way of thinking, feel, and act, we could say that we have a common culture and we think kind of similar. We tend to feel the same things when stuff happens, and we tend to act in the same way. So if someone comes to you and say, "Hey, Laura, please help me to to develop a new system," and you have been working as a business analyst for a while, you probably will ask, "But why do you need a new system? What are you looking for? What are the outcomes that you expect from that?" That's so natural. You don't have to use a methodology to do that because it's in your mind. It's the way you think, the way you work. So based on that, trying to summarize what a business analysis mindset is, I would say that a business analysis mindset think always motivated by outcomes, not by outputs. So we are always trying to understand what are the outcomes that we expect in this situation, and not just what they're asking me to do, but what they expect as a result of that. Another important thing about the way we think is that we don't look just for a specific situation. We try to be more holistic. So we try to understand what all the stakeholders that are involved in this situation, what are the needs of all those stakeholders, taking a higher view than just a simple situation. But if I change this stuff, what else is gonna happen? So looking for outcomes and looking it broadly. In the way we feel, I believe business analysts are open to listen. So they don't feel like they have all the answers. They like to listen to other opinions and other parts of view. As they want to be holistic, they know and they believe they don't have all the answers. So they want to listen to others. And they are not afraid of challenging the status quo. So they're bold. So that's a feeling about how the business analysis mindset is inside. And when you see that in actions, what you're going to see and how those thinking and feeling is going to become acts is that business analysts are always collaborative. So they are trying to engage people, even to have this analytical, this holistic view, and they are very analytical. They try to analyze and understand stuff and find cause and relations in everything. So that's how I try to summarize the BA mindset in the way I see. And if we practice and learn, if we go to Laura trainings and learn how to be a business analyst, you learn a lot of tactics and practice that often in a regular base. That changes the way you think, the way you feel, and that's going to change the way you act as well. So it becomes natural.
And I'm sure we could say the same thing about your trainings too, right? I always say I'm teaching specific techniques, but what you're really learning is how to think like a BA. And so like it comes out of the practice, right?
Perfect. And talking about training and talking about developing capabilities, I have a final question for you, Laura, that we could try to summarize some of the things that we talked about today. We said that the organizations want to be more nimble. They want to sense and respond to change fastly and precisely. And they don't need just BAs to do that, or they don't need just people with the job title of a business analyst to do that. They need more people with this business analysis mindset. So, based on that, how can organizations develop this business analysis mindset, not just as a job function, but as a culture where everyone could have this motivation to outcomes and an holistic mindset, thinking analytical and collaboratively?
Yeah, it's such a big question from an organizational perspective. And I know, like, I see a lot of BAs get so frustrated because they feel like they are getting constant resistance to some of the practices and the best practices. But I think organizationally, like from the leadership level, it's about allowing space for a pause before we act on an idea. And it almost comes down to like how we evaluate our companies, how we evaluate our staffs, what kind of outcomes we're looking for projects, but like having that strategy in place and choosing to think through the implications of a decision, and often pausing or feeling like you're slower at the beginning so that you can be faster in the long run. And that takes a lot of discipline, I think, in the culture these days, of the culture of quick results, fast turnaround, financial quarterly results that we're publishing and getting evaluated on. So I see a lot of tension there. But I want to also think about it from the individual perspective, because like that can feel really defeatist for an individual BA. But like all the work that you do as a BA within the project is helping your organization be more nimble, is helping them act on the best ideas that they're aware of at the time. And so the more effective and efficient you get within the project, the more opportunities you expand for yourself kind of beyond the project and to get into those strategy level discussions as well. So just, starting with where you're at and asking those questions and creating those little micro pauses. If it's like a JIRA ticket, that's a single little feature about how to add a data point to a report, right? Like making sure you're still creating that like question, why are we doing this? What's the value? What's the outcome we're looking for? And having those discussions that will percolate out. Any final words?
I hate to stop you.
I know, we're at the top.
Let's wrap up. Yeah. It is an amazing conversation. Fabricio, over to you for a final say.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you, everybody, to join us. And I hope to see you guys online. If you're not connected to Laura and me on LinkedIn, please do so. It's lovely to make I love to make new friends all around the world.
I'll be the one to join for sure. And guys, everybody who watches, you are welcome to post your questions on the agenda page of this talk on the community. We'll address them. And there you can also leave your rating for the speakers. Again, if you like, no pressure here. And I surely invite you to join us on the next session on expectations towards BA responsibilities from different roles on the project. So see you soon. And Laura, Fabricio, thank you so much again. Such a pleasure.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's yet another topic of the day 4 of our conference, the BA Excellence, where we are actually talking about the BA transformation role. And I hope so far you have enjoyed the conference. I hope that you enjoyed the talks presented by our speakers. And also, I would like to invite you to take advantage of the YouTube channel where all of the talks are available. So please go to the BA Community YouTube channel. All the recordings from the past 4 days will be available, same as the recordings from tomorrow's session, for which I would also like to invite you. Right now, as this is the last talk that we have prepared for you today, this is a big one. And I would like to mention that here we would have an opportunity to look at the expectations towards the BA responsibilities from various different points of views and from various different participants of the project. And we actually have a group of experts who will be participating today. So I would like to invite to the stage Dmytro Lozovitsky, who is a Chief Business Analyst here at EPAM. So Dima, can you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Yeah, hello, Jan. Hello, dear colleagues, dear BA fans. Actually, thank you so much that you just mentioned that important topic for all of us about the future BA job function transformation in our project, in our life. It's extremely important for all of us. And as you know, guys, from previous conferences, I am Chief Business Analyst, EPAM, Ukraine. Yep. First of all, I want to mention about some kind of special moments about my experience. I like to combine different roles at the project, and always try to do that, especially in big and challenging IT projects, accounts, etc. I convinced in that fact that only on the edge, we can create, and we should create something new and interesting for all of us. And in my past, I had not bad experience, very broad experience as a business analyst, as project manager, head of PMO, product owner, product manager, partial activities, etc. And I like to share my experience so much. Also, I have some PhD graduate, in economic science. Like to share my experience not only in EPAM, also for external audience. You know, guys, that our company make a lot of efforts to provide the great experience and extra knowledge for all BA fans in the world. And as you can see in the list, Jan mentioned that I like to have some physical activities, especially on the nature, bushcraft activities, some kind of CrossFit. And my passion is music and books.
So thank you so much for being here with us today as the expert from the business analysis side. But we also have more experts today, and we also have an expert from the delivery point of view. So we have Jolanta Momot, a senior delivery manager at EPAM. So Jolanta, welcome to the session.
Hello, everybody. I'm not as good as Dima talking about myself, so I only will say that I'm doing engineering management, project management, delivery management for the past 20 years. And it has been a pleasure, because if I didn't like that job, I would go and do something else. Thank you.
Glad to have you here with us today. We also have, from the technical side and technical representative, we have Paweł Piwosz, our ex-EPAMer. So Paweł, welcome to the stage, and it's so good to once again have the opportunity to share the stage with you.
Yeah, so hello everyone. Yes, as you said, ex-EPAMer, maybe one day future EPAMer, who knows?
Who knows?
I like to call myself like a DevOps generalist, DevOps evangelist. A lot of things is going on right now around me related to DevOps. So, for example, in half a year or maybe less, We will publish the book about CI/CD principles and practices. We just finalized organizing the AWS Community Day. Some of EPAMers were there, and I hope you enjoy this. So yeah, a lot of things related to community, to DevOps, things like that. So I'm happy to be here.
Glad to have you here with us. And we also have from the marketing and sales side, we have Ted Vale, who is our marketing manager. So Ted, welcome to our session today.
Hi, everybody. I'm dialing in from the East Coast of the United States, just south of Boston. As Jan mentioned, I'm head of marketing for Test.io and currently the only brand manager within EPAM. Really happy to be here, really value business analysts and what you guys do for us in sales team. So I'm happy to be a part of this panel.
And we are super happy to have you here as well. So for those of you who are just joining, there are a couple of rules of engagement in today's session. So this will be just a moderated talk with the experts about the expectations towards the BA role, about the so far experience that they have, what they enjoy, what they are not enjoying, what we can improve, how we can make the life of the BAs better, but also how we can make the life of our stakeholders on the project better from the BA standpoint of view. And as you see, we have a technical person, we have delivery person, salesperson, we have even a business analyst here. So there will be a lot of interesting views shared today in the session. So raise your questions in the chat, raise your questions in the YouTube channel. We also encourage you to join the We Are community portal and raise the questions there. The questions that will be raised, will be then raised to our experts if the time allows us, and the discussion will not take too much time. And enjoy, sit back, relax, enjoy the event, and let us begin. And let me ask you the first question, because here we have, give or take, around 100 years of experience altogether, aggregated across various different projects and various different domains. And my first question that I have for you, and I'll stop sharing the screen just so that we can now focus more on the discussion itself. What so far you have enjoyed about the work with the business analyst, and how did the work with the business analyst make your life better, or how you identified the change that the BAs brought to the projects? Maybe Yola, maybe we can start with you for this question.
Sure. For me, as an engineering manager, delivery manager, my primary job is to make sure that we are building outcomes for the clients. So BAs are becoming very important part of the team because they are supposed to understand the business and translate the business so that it's easy for us to understand and implement. So that's why that role is crucial, right? The business analyst is the person that will build that connection, who might know about specific regulations or some additional things that me as a developer, me as an engineer, I might not be aware of. So my expectations towards them is definitely to be that liaison, to be that person who is more eager than potentially rest of the team to get to know those areas. Business analysts also, I will tell you this, maybe this is a specific of EPAM, but those who I have so far met, they are really good at project management as well. Those are the guys who are helping tremendously in gathering the team together and making sure that we understand what is our scope and how we are progressing on that scope. So from that perspective, they are definitely also very helpful to me in my role and in my job. And they are also, most of the time, they have the minds that are oriented in understanding the processes. So I very often discuss with the business analyst, and I use them to help me to understand how I can build the software better, because they can help to visualize the processes. And from that perspective, I see, okay, where we can have some breaks, or where even from the architecture later on, how we can improve the flows, right? So that I would say that's three major things that I do enjoy, and I do see that business analysts are bringing to the teams.
Continuing with the technical path, Pavel, do you have also similar views on the aspect? Maybe there is also something more that the BAs can bring to your role.
Yeah, so I fully agree, and my board of advisors on the top shelf there agree with you, Yolanda, as well. I think that this is very important person in the team or function in the team, because business talks different language than technical people are doing it. And the most conflicts, misunderstandings, and problems which I saw was related to this. Business wants something, developers doesn't understand it at all. Developers create something what is not needed by business at all. And what is the point of something like that? We need someone or some person or some function, doesn't matter in this case, which will be this bridge, which will be this translator really of the business needs, but not just simple, okay, this is the business case, you need to build this and this and this, but also to explain why. Because it is very important, and I'm a big fan of like taking ownership, right? If you are not able to convince someone to take ownership for what this person is doing, it will be probably a crap or close to crap enough. Close enough to crap, right? That's why the big role, I think, and kind of unnamed role of BA is to pass this ownership down.
Now, Dmitro, Yolanta mentioned the combination at EPAM that RBAs, they have the capabilities of combining the role of being project managers, being business analysts, and you've mentioned in your introduction that you combine those two roles as well. What do you think makes this possible, and how these roles can interact with one another, and how to actually build the capabilities in RBAs?
Yeah, thank you, Jan. That is a great question. Actually, I think that I can add my voice for all mentioned points from Yolanta, Pavel, and I think that the main accents the main accent in role combining process, especially on BA side, is to find out extra opportunities to make our project excellence better and better. Yeah, from different point of views, from processes side, from actually technical side, from business understanding side, client orientation, make better client interaction, etc. So how it should look like, it depends on the case. Yep. And I think that the most interesting point that we can mention here, is the next, that every project needs to have, I think, that the major BA mature enough to understand what is the specific of the project and where we can add additional value. He can support actually project manager with some functions. He can support delivery manager with also some functions, but he needs to have the complex vision, what is going on the project that Yolanta mentioned before, and think about how he can help with efficient increase generally. Yeah. So it depends on case, but in the basic platform for all business analysts work is their broad experience and broad knowledge in different areas at all.
And Ted, you have a different kind of focus, not necessarily project oriented, but you are working in marketing and working in sales. You also have a very client facing role. And I was wondering whether BAs also can support you in that. Whether you see an added value from the BAs, if you had the opportunity to collaborate and cooperate with them.
Oh, definitely. So, marketing focuses on understanding customer needs and trying to create awareness and drive demand for products and services, even as we work on figuring out the best ways to position a brand or products or services in the market. And we work tightly with our sales teams who, their main role is to qualify the leads that marketing is generating and hopefully convert those leads into sales while maintaining relationships with existing customers. In both cases, we are driven by hypotheses, right? Marketing and sales tends to be very future looking, where we're constantly trying to predict, market trends, customer behaviors, the competitive landscape, even as we're looking internally and trying to understand where the most profitable customer segments are, how to optimize our sales processes, forecasting sales trends. And so there's a lot of theory craft involved in sales and marketing. And so if you guys will pardon the testing metaphor, business analysts are really function in a critical role of QA, almost quality assurance, in helping us test and validate those hypotheses that marketing and sales run on. So, business analysts can provide data-driven validation. And I liked how Pavel introduced development and, product as an extension of that into the conversation, and how business analysts can be sort of that unbiased voice. And anybody who's been in between marketing and sales when they disagree about something can appreciate how valuable an unbiased data-driven voice can be, who can help sales and marketing better utilize data analytics and modeling techniques, again, to test sort of the strategies and hypotheses. Business analysts are also essential when it comes to helping validate forecasting accuracy, and certainly a feedback loop. As our data collection methods have continued to mature, we have more data than ever, which gives us almost real-time performance insight into when we launch campaigns, when we're running sales promotions, whatever. And business analysts can really aid sales and marketing in understanding how to pivot as quickly as they need to, the better directions they might need to move in to better optimize, their particular initiatives or functions. So yeah, in sales and marketing, business analysts are key for strategic decision making and optimization.
So
what I wanted to say
just wanted to mention
first.
Okay, ladies first in that case, no problem.
Because what I wanted to say, just listening to Ted and listening earlier to Pavel and Dima, it sounds to me like business analyst job is so interesting because look, we are doing slightly different things, and the descriptions of what the business analyst is doing were so different, right? So it's almost like you don't have to change a job title, but you can change job completely. So this is a fascinating thing to me that I haven't thought about before this meeting. Thank you.
Not to mention that for me, being a business analyst is not only a profession, but it's also a lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
But Pavel, you wanted to also add something.
Yeah, I think that what Ted mentioned is very important because I had the opportunity to be a developer advocate for some time, and I see the connection between marketing, what we do in marketing, because generally developer advocate is part of marketing teams, with data on which we base our approach. And this is very important because if we do not have information where we should be, we are like walking like blinds, right? We don't know really what we want to not necessarily sell, but where we want to capture the attention of people around, well, to sell actually on the end, but still, right? So this is what I wanted to add here.
Dima, what do you think from the BA's point of view? Do you agree with the statements shared before?
Absolutely agree. And guys, that all these thoughts together just remind me that we need to mention the leadership role unique leadership role of business analyst in the team, and this is actually integrative person, integrative role. From teamwork perspective, from client work perspective, from internal decision-making process, etc. So that is our reality. Yep, as you mentioned, Jan, we need to have some BA lifestyle.
And I think also it comes to what we've already mentioned before, that it's also a bit of the ownership of the problem and being also the part of the solution to not only receive. And this is something that Pavel actually mentioned about, being this communicator. And I think the soft skill aspect definitely is important. And one of the soft skills that I think at EPAM have mastered is the adaptability, that regardless on which project we are working, in which domain, we are capable of quickly upskilling ourselves. And as today we are talking about the BA job transformation, I would like to ask you, from your experience, how did you notice the transition of the BA role, maybe for example, in the last 5 years? Have you noticed that, and what do you think was the ability to quickly improve the skills?
Yeah, I think that our progress, we can't stop the progress. We can only help to make this progress better and better in our IT area globally. And first of all, what I can mention that during 5 years, we going to migrate in BA job functions from pure business analysis. I mean, first of all, understanding of client business, etc., to the area where we can combine our business analysis capabilities with technical solutions, decisions, etc., understanding and providing. And our BAs should know about technologies that we are going to use in our practice more and more. But at the same time, we have so big load from information perspective on client side, in our development process, that we need to provide some extra capabilities of BA's behavior. And I think that in previous discussions, from previous discussions, we can mention a couple of points about that. First of all, about flexibility of BA behavior. It means for us, we need to train ourselves to study fast or rapidly, adopt ourselves in our work for any kind of conditions or circumstances that we can have potentially in the project. Also, we need to provide absolutely client-oriented behavior with a fast interaction with the client, because the speed of processes on business side are so high, or could be so high, that we need to provide the highest reaction, and fast interaction with the client and with client representatives, and understand. And we need to provide a great understanding of client needs. And for sure, we need to train ourselves in the tech area to provide capability to analyze solution that we're going to create and provide for the clients. Of course, with the help of AI assistance, understanding of client technologies, software architecture knowledge as well, etc.
So, talking about the tech skills, question maybe to Jolanta and Pavel, what do you think are the technical capabilities that the BAs could evolve that would help you while working on the projects? On which areas to focus for you to make the life for your projects better?
Oh, you can go ahead first now.
Okay, so I think that this is very important aspect, because first of all, it looks like BA is not only the person who is only creating the tasks for the team, right? It's a little bit more than that. And with the technology progress and approach progressing during the last years, starting from monolith through the microservices, micro frontends, now to serverless, and this kind of distributed systems on different levels, we can end up to going to this, let's say, joke or whatever I did on the beginning of this this sentence. For the serverless, the role of the BA would be even to create one task. So this is useless, right? So right now in this changing technology, the role of BA becomes quite critical, because you have to work together with architects who are familiar with the specific technology, specific approach, specific type of architectures, and let's say translate the business needs to this specific transmission belt, let's call it this way. What means that you have to have at least the glimpse what are the features, the specifics of this technology, right? And because on the end of the day, you have to propose some approach to the business using this technology, right? Architect is looking from a little bit different perspective. Of course, your roles, your both roles as a BA and architect are closely connected, intersecting in many places, but your perspective is a little bit different. So you have the business in mind on the first place. Architect has the architecture in mind on the first place. So you need to find together your
common language
first place, right? Yes, common language.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, I think finding a common language in the teams is definitely something that is always happening and has to be happening. As the people, if we are supposed to be effective working together, we need to understand one another. And you will notice that the teams are having some of their own languages after working together for some time, right? But definitely when the business analyst understands the technology language, it makes that job easier for them, because whatever the feedbacks team are giving to them, they are able to process this better, right? So this understanding is good. I know the question was about technical skill sets, but I think still, for me, a BA is not a person that, like, I don't want them to replace my job, right? I'm the engineering manager, so I don't need them to know everything I know. But what I'm not great at, and where I'm expecting a business analyst to be great at, is tell the story from the business perspective, so that I understand that why that Pavel was talking about before. Why are we doing this? What is the value in the stuff that we are building? What is the problem that we are trying to solve? Business analysts need to be able to tell that story, because that's how, like what we were saying at the beginning, business analyst is that bridge between the business and the development team. So I want them to be able to translate this into meaningful terms that I can understand. The second thing where I think the BAs can progress and they can bring a lot of value is from user experience. User experience is a hard thing. And when I talk about user experience, I don't mean your regular UI designer who is going to place different elements on the website or on the application screen. I'm talking about the real user experience. Is this, and this is a little bit of like what Ted was talking about, right? Is this easy for the end user to use this? How easy this is, or how difficult, or how we can simplify those business processes so that it's easier to solve the main goal, the main process. I'm expecting business analysts to help and to bring value in this area for sure. And then really keeping up with the changes that are happening on the business side. So if I'm, for example, creating an application for the airlines, if there are meaningful mandates or meaningful changes that might impact what I'm doing, I am expecting the business analyst to be the person who is bringing this up. So it's not really so much of a technical skill set that I talked about, I went back to this business analysis and this real understanding of the business from the technology and what business analysts can use in order to bring more value. The Gen AI definitely can help with some simple stuff, right? So my expectation is that we're going to be bringing more trainings, and business analysts are going to train themselves into using Gen AI so that the boring, easy stuff can be handled. And then the difficult conceptual stuff where we really need to use the power of our brain and creativity can be brought forward. And then last but not least, yes, data analysis and understanding data flows and how to simplify data flows. A lot of what is happening right now with the technology and with the projects and where the world is going is about the data. So understanding the intricacies of data world will definitely be a differentiator for the business analysts.
And I think this also comes to what Ted mentioned before, that you mentioned about the usage of the data for the sales purposes and for optimizing the process, but also when it comes to the storytelling aspect, right? I think there is also a huge interjection between the BAs and the marketing team.
Oh, definitely. I mean, and one of the interesting topics that I think is super important, and again, this is looking more internally, but excuse me, like where Pavel was talking about business architecture and Joe was kind of starting to talk about tech skills. One of the essential areas that sales and marketing teams can turn to business analysts for is helping them collect and ingest clean, valid data, and so, by that means, like they don't need to be like experts at, like, say, Salesforce, but understanding, how Salesforce collects data and how it generates reports so they can turn around and identify, where data might be missing, where the data being collected might be, dirty or invalid. And, working with sales and marketing teams and then ops teams to just make sure that sort of the raw materials in terms of, the data, the insights, the intelligence that everybody's trying to work with are as high quality as can be, which I guess kind of folds back into my quality sort of assurance metaphor. Because the other thing that marketing and sales teams wrestle with, especially marketing teams, is, we can measure just about everything these days, but it doesn't mean that everything is relevant or useful. And having an analytical voice interject and help marketing teams understand what's important to look at, what they should be prioritizing in terms of insights and data, and helping them understand what kind of feedback really matters can help them cut through a lot of the white noise too, and help sort of avoid a lot of sort of the confusion and wheel spinning that sales and marketing teams can run into as they're trying to best understand, what all this data and intelligence is trying to tell them.
And that brings me to my next question, actually, that how to exactly filter out of the whole big piece of noise. So maybe, Dmitry, based on your experience as a business analyst, how to, in the ocean of information, in the ocean of data, focus on exactly the things that will be important for our customers?
Yeah, sure. Jan, again, this is awesome question. And I think that we have one great way how we can do that. First of all, I think that we need to understand in clear and very, very, very precise manner what is our goal, what are our goals, yeah. And based on that, I mean,
and by R we don't mean only, sorry for interrupting, but by R we don't mean only R as BAs, but also R as the whole business, right? And also our customers.
Exactly, absolutely, exactly. It means that. And based on that, we need to decompose that understanding on different by different levels. Yeah, on level of the business, on level of the team, on level of the customer or client interaction, etc. And actually align our actions every time with one great question that we should ask ourselves, yeah? For what we are going to do this or that? Why and for what? Yeah? What we want to achieve. And we have a joke, some kind of joke in our BA's area, that this is the main question of business analyst. For what? For what we are going to do this or that? And especially based on that understanding, we need to build and maybe reorganize very often our work, some kind of processes, etc. We need to be flexible in our actions, in our mindset, to filter out all needed information related to this or that goal that we are going to work with and achieve that. And only in that case, we are going to provide, or we will be able to provide for our clients real value.
Now, Yola mentioned here also the generative AI, which is one of the new trends in the overall BA role and in general the IT world altogether. And my question is, apart of the Gen AI, what do you think are the next trends, how the role of the BAs will transition to, but also what would be the market expectations? Like, do you predict any, or have you seen any from the client's demands or from even the roles that you play on the projects?
As you can see, guys, on the market, this is a trend. This is a trend, yeah. AI tools usage, and as for me, I think that AI is a helper, first of all, for business analyst on the project. And as Jolanta mentioned, that it can help. It can help us to actually to do some kind of regular stuff on the project, some operational tasks, etc., in more efficient manner. But right now, the AI technologies that we can use, they just focused on time optimization, efforts optimization, and maybe provide some information for the better decision making process at all. So AI for us will be a tool, and that is great to have some kind of skills for business analysts at the project, and generally to know a couple of AI tools. Yeah. So this is, I think that in very, very close future, I mean that is the perspective, or this is horizon of a couple of the years, AI knowledge will be obligatory requirement for any kind of business analyst who want to play this role on the project and work in that area. So, but we have at the same time a lot of noise about AI value, and right now, based on the current technology level of AI, we can say that very often AI role is overestimated. Yep. Especially from the client side. But we shouldn't ignore that signals, and we need to be adaptable and find out new opportunities, new information about AI technologies, and be aligned with that trends.
Mm-hmm. Now, Paweł, I know you have some certain, well, we know each other for years, and you have a certain approach towards the AI, and I'm just kind of curious about your perspective.
Yes, exactly. The AI is smart, that smart like you are stupid, honestly speaking. Let me be blunt here. But before I go there, there is a good comment in the chat about 5 whys, but why not 4 whys or 6 whys or 3 whys, right? So I tend to call it enough whys. You should ask enough whys, not 5, 6, 7, 9, whatever. Anyway, AI. So, I observe AI right now in the peak of hype like we had with virtualization about 15 years ago, then with containerization, then with Kubernetes, then with serverless. Everyone needs to use serverless, everyone needs to use Kubernetes because everyone else is using it. Then one company changed one service from serverless to monolith, and hey, serverless is dead, come on, right? So we have the tendency to have a very strong opinion and like following the path which is not necessarily well established yet. AI is a very powerful tool. Yes, that's no doubt here. But the question is how and when you build the AI capabilities into your process. If it is more like supportive for you, today is, well, okay. But I would not trust AI today as it is, because there is a lot of aspects which AI cannot grasp yet. And here we also have the problem how the model for AI is built, what data is there, and the circle is complete, right? To give you the example, once I asked AI to generate the serverless function for authorization, and it generated beautifully cool. Then I asked to generate the same function, but in secure way. And guess what? The function was completely different. It means exactly what I said on the beginning. It depends what you expect, how you ask, how your model is prepared and built, and how your model is executed. So there is still a lot of work to make sure that the AI is really helpful for us. Right now, okay, many people will just crucify me when I say this, but right now it's like a just curiosity for me. Of course, there are some areas where AI is very powerful, very useful, but still for work like, I think, BAs, DevOps, even in marketing, honestly, AI today is more like a helpful tool / curiosity than something very, very useful.
Definitely, we should not resign from the real intelligence, and just
Oh, definitely not.
Not only count on the artificial intelligence. But Yola, you have the yes.
Yeah, but I mean, I know that we are changing the topic a little bit to talking about the Gen AI. But I'm gonna try to tie it back to the BAs, right? Here's the thing: if you are asking the question to the AI, most of the time it's going to give you the same answer, right? So even if you're asking, give me the function, give me a secure function, and there's like 2 or 15 or 2,000 BAs, they're going to get the same answer. So really, the people who can bring the differentiators into that process. So yes, I can ask the questions and get the easy stuff from Gen AI. I don't care. But when I'm telling the story about how I'm fixing the business problem, the person who will be able to tell that story the best, that person is going to win, and that person will be more sought after in the market, right? It's not about the easy pieces, but it's about how are you putting those pieces together.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, that aligns well with, at least in the quality engineering and testing space. There's a lot of concern around AI is going to steal jobs and this and that and the other thing. But our message and positioning, much like, Yo said, is that, AI is ultimately a glorified hammer. It's a very powerful hammer, but it's still just a tool. And it needs the tool makers and the tool users to even reach its own potential, right? And so, though, our capabilities may continue to transform, evolve as we get better tools, say through the use of AI, the real challenge isn't really in trying to, save one's job or compete with AI, but to figure out how to best use those tools to enable them to kind of go above and beyond, their previous limitations. One of the things that we see a lot in development and testing is that, a lot of sort of the grunt work can be, like test case writing can be offloaded to AI tools now, which frees up test engineers and developers to spend those brain cycles actually innovating, inventing, developing, imagining, all the things that, humans are uniquely fantastic at, AI can unlock a lot of those doors to, allowing us to pursue, those sort of unique capabilities of ours that AI will never be able to replicate.
But looking outside of the AI for a moment, what other trends can you spot in your roles apart of the AI? In which direction do you think will the role of the business analyst will transition, or how it should transition also to help you with your projects?
Just to jump in real quick, on the sales and marketing front, I would love to see business analysts be more proactive and aggressive at taking prescriptive seats at sort of the table. Sales and marketing teams aren't always great about thinking to open the doors and invite business analysts into the conversation. From my own experience, even sales and marketing leadership isn't always well educated or versed in how to properly utilize business analysts and the value they bring. So definitely, just being sort of a louder voice, within sort of the overall organization, I think would be great. So
is there something that we as the business analyst can do to help you with that? To keep the door open or to put the foot in the door?
Definitely speak up more. Product teams, again, at least within EPAM and Test.io, are getting better with turning to business analysts to help them understand, requirements and as they're building out their roadmaps and the like. Marketing and sales teams are starting to get better about trying to become more data-driven. But there's a lack of education and awareness and expertise within sales, marketing, and product teams to really understand how to fully utilize the value that business analysts bring. So, in addition to, maybe being sort of a louder voice and being, a bit more aggressive about taking a seat at that table, also being, and again, we all wear many hats, but, just being educators and helping us learn, how to best utilize business analysts, in regards to, again, I love the whole, outcomes versus outputs thing too, and to understand how business analysts can help us get to the outcomes that we're pursuing.
Yeah. What about yourself? Do you see any kind of trends in which we
I
develop our skills?
I definitely love the comment about outputs, how business analysts can help me to get to faster, better, more accurate outputs. And from that perspective, I certainly, one thing that I'm a lot of times missing is the calculated risk taking. So business analysts should be able to understand, or a lot of times we have situations where the business analyst is saying, oh, I cannot make the story because I'm waiting for some additional details from the product owner, right? So I would want business analysts to kind of get a little bit more of that product understanding, so they can help us to take those calculated risks and translate them correctly to the client. Plus, definitely still that data analysis, data-driven decision-making, that will certainly be something that will be a differentiator for the business analysts.
So kind of like Pavel mentioned about the ownership, right? For the piece of cake.
A bit.
Okay, challenging question. Okay, I understand.
Pavel, if you're asking me about ownership, I'm going to start talking for another hour, and I don't think we have that much time.
So anyone who would like to, feel free to reach out to Jola on a separate session through other channels. I'm sure she will be very happy to share the knowledge and her point of view on that topic. Pavel, from your point of view, What?
Yeah, I want to add something what was not said yet, because I agree with all of you what you said, but I also think that we should start, and I see it in the DevOps world as well. We should start thinking about BAs and business analysis a little bit differently, because what we tend to do very often is to think about business analysis like initial business analysis, and then who cares about BAs, right? But when we look, for example, what we can do with DevOps world, using, for example, value stream mapping, in using Lean, and so on and so on and so on, there is a business analysis as well. We have some processes, we have some improvements, and we want to know, I hope we want to know, how this impacts the business. And also the translation which you can do between those two words is very helpful, because again, we still speak different languages. Right?
Now, Dima, you heard what the marketing team, what the delivery team, what the technical team is expecting from the BAs. What the BA team can do now to
No. The
bridge
question
that
should
gap.
be different. When it will be done?
As well.
Okay, guys, yeah, that's great comments and questions again, and I think that to cover all needs from different point of views, I think that we have an answer in our practice right now. As you can see, colleagues, that we have extra options in BA Pass career development, and these years, I mean last maybe 5-7 years, we have a lot of additional streams for BA knowledge development. Right now we have system analysis as a separate specialty, and some kind of bench of functions for business analyst. Bench of knowledge, additional knowledge. We have data analysis and data analytics, so etc. And I think that as a regular specialty, I mean, this is a law. When we're going to develop something, we need to understand the direction, and we need to cover with additional tools, knowledge, and other stuff, this direction based on request. So my prediction that in a couple of years, maybe up to 5 years, the specialty of business analyst will be transformed with additional broad functions and bunch of knowledge that BA should cover from his side. So this is prediction, and we'll see how we can do that.
So question is, are there any last minute tips or last minute inspirational thoughts or quotes that you might have for the fellow BAs to make sure that they will strive for excellence, and with that approach they will be able to focus on the customer to deliver good values?
Start recording stories and sharing them. That's how you're going to improve the storytelling skill sets.
Also practice that as well by participating in certain training sessions, potentially.
Yeah, training sessions. Or just, in the afternoon to your mirror. That's good enough. That's also training. And if you believe in your own story, you can make yourself excited, then you know that you have it.
There is this triple C principle about delivering stories. Clarity, consistency, confidence. Right. So this is something that definitely our colleagues can practice, so that when they will be put on the spot, it will not be confusion, but so just a slightly better approach.
So
Pavel,
I think
what about your
be
thoughts?
Be present. Because your role is very important. Sometimes I would say even crucial, because you are this anchor between two words, and sometimes those words are very distant from each other, because we talk very often about business in other company, right? Let's talk about EPAM right now. So you connecting two completely different galaxies, really. So be present, be, well, I know how it sounds, but be valuable for both sides, really. And I know that it will help.
And I know that sometimes what I've learned is that we sometimes as BAs take the business requirements, translate into the technical language, but we also need to make sure that we are bridging the gap in the other way around as well. Meaning we take the technical solution and we say, this technical solution fixes this business problem. This all has to be mapped one against the other, right?
Exactly. Be reach wide enough to have the communication and traffic in both sides.
Yeah.
I mean, I love what you just said, right? Because this is so often not the conversation that is happening, but the business is pressuring the teams. You have to do it fast. You have to do it fast, and we are doing it fast. But then the cost or the quality or the user experience with what we have built is not there. So, like, business analyst is definitely like capable and can bring a lot of value in bringing those conversations up to the business as well. Thank you for stating that, because that's definitely an important thing.
And I think it's also important to mention what I like to sometimes call that we as the business analysts, Dmytro, I don't know whether you will agree with me or not, but sometimes we are the voice of the voiceless, meaning that developers, testers not always have the possibility to raise concerns about the technical implementation, technical solutions, right? Yeah. So we need to feel empowered, and we had a presentation in our conference this week about empowering people, actually. So I think that's also something that we should not be afraid to raise those concerns.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And what I can mention, what we want to wish to all business analysts, I think that from my side, I can highlight a couple of things, and these things are not related to technical stuff or just hard skills. I want to talk about, first of all, I want to talk and want to wish for our business analysts some special things that are on behalf of soft skills, on behavioral skills. And first of all, I want to wish to the business analysts, be proactive and be brave, in their actions. Try, and try. The second is to be energetic person, to stay care about their health, about mental health, physical health, about their level of energy. And for sure, inspire yourself and inspire other people. That is also very important in our life. I think that should be the main focus in a couple of years of our dynamic work. Yeah.
And if we'll be able to inspire the group of people around us, we'll be able also to inspire our customers, right? And then we'll be able also to, with our storytelling skills, go to help support sales and marketing team. So Ted, any last thoughts for the BAs going forward?
Yeah, no, I mean, I really like what Dima was sort of saying, because I was going to say confidence is so huge, especially when dealing with sales and marketing teams, because by nature, we're all very curious. We're constantly testing what we're told or what we're learning. Don't assume that just because, sales and marketing teams might be challenging what you're asking or wanting to dig deeper, that you're wrong. If you're right and you've got the data and you've done the work and you've got the expertise, don't be afraid to put us in our place, man. Like we're just as human as you are. And, in a lot of cases, we're not taking all of the quantitative and qualitative, information that's out there and putting it into, things that are showing us what we need to see. So confidence, definitely be confident.
However, with a small caveat, I will just add one here to also distinguish the difference between confidence and arrogance, right? Because sometimes that line might be a bit blurry. So that's why it's, again, Triple C principle, clarity, consistency, confidence, but with the, enough boundaries for respect and open-mindedness, I would say, as well.
Good call. Yeah. And no thank you slides.
And no thank you slides, no Q&A slides at the presentation. Yeah, definitely. All right. As we are at the time, let me just say that it has been an absolute pleasure talking to you today. I do hope that our audience managed to take advantage of the shared knowledge, shared information, and whoever would like to consider the BA role or is already in the BA role will know what will be the next trends and next steps in going forward with the career for the trends. I do hope that those trends will be aligned exactly with how you predicted that. And if not, again, adaptability. We can always adapt once again, and be sure that we, in our mindset, in our approach, are agile and can adapt to any kind of circumstances and anything that life will throw at us. That said, thank you so much for being the part of today's panel. Thank you to everyone who raised the comments in the YouTube channel. Thank you for raising questions in our community. We will look at those and we will address those after the call. We still invite you to join our conference tomorrow to watch the presentations that we have prepared for you there. And we invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel to see anytime we release a new video or anytime we release a new conference such as this one. So don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification button not to miss any notifications going forward. And what can I say? Have a wonderful rest of the day. Please take good care of yourself. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy. And we do hope to speak to you again in the upcoming future.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Bye, everyone.